This time we're going for a Cinderella story.
But this Victorian needs more than magic.
Pitiful. That's my yard.
Little changes anyone can do to dress a house up.
All I want is a beautiful house.
Right now, Cinderella's stuck in the scullery.
We're gonna go in a double.
Okay.
Woo!
Nice.
Joel and Nilmini Rubin love being on the river.
It's nice to be on the water and not working on the house.
This is a power couple. Both of them work for the federal government.
I work for the Senate, and I feel like it's a chance to promote positive change. It's a beautiful day today.
Yeah, it's good to get out of the house. I work for the State Department. It's the most challenging thing I've ever had to do, and it's a lot of fun. It's very good work.
Finding time to go kayaking hasn't been easy for the Rubins.
Woo!
Nice.
Most of their free time has been spent working on their recently purchased home.
When I first saw the house, it just looked like a princess house. With a turret, it looked very romantic.
The house is decidedly unromantic. The yard is a wreck, and there's no privacy.
So now that you've been in there for a while, what about it would you like to see changed?
The whole outside needs to change. It looks like a wasteland.
Well, I got a perfect designer in mind for you guys. Are you ready to meet him?
Yes.
Definitely.
All right.
The castle's got a bit of a dungeon look.
Designer Anthony Wilder's got great ideas for this place.
The house is already beautiful by itself. It stands alone. It has a wonderful statuesque kind of feel to it.
Anthony's challenge? To make little changes that'll have big impact.
So we're going to finish it off with soft plantings, a finial on the top, and wrought iron. It's going to give it an antique feeling and soften the edges with a nice soft green. It'd be nice if you could get a little evergreen wall. And it's soft and vertical. Planted, planted, planted all the way around. It's beautiful, and they grow together like a hedge. You know, love thy neighbor, but let's get a hedge. A fountain would be great over there. This could be a little hidden garden.
Yeah.
Grass is hard to maintain, isn't it?
Well, no, not with a push mower.
Okay.
I'm just worried about too much pavement.
Great, thank you.
Been sitting for, what, 120 years untouched?
Untouched, sort of, but
So-
bad enough.
I think we can bring it up about 20 octaves.
Good.
Right away, Anthony gets down to business. Anthony's plan begins at the entryway. Above the front door, a wrought iron and glass portico goes in that give the entry a fresh new look and keeps the rain and snow off our homeowners. To the left, brand new landscaping will replace the decrepit yard. Shrubs, perennials, and annuals will bring a high-color, low-maintenance freshening to the dead spaces. To the right, a classic garden goes in, complete with a bench and fountain to soften the traffic noise, creating a private, intimate space. A period-style wrought iron fence, another classic Victorian addition, surrounds the entire property, lending a stylish sense of permanence. The windows also get a Victorian-era look, a whimsical tricolor paint job that will make them pop off the red brick. Topping it all off, on the turret, an old finial is refurbished by our homeowners, crowning this curb appeal.
All right, we got the plan, we got the team. Somebody's got to go to work first. Who's it going to be?
Not me.
The next day, Anthony and Nilmini get to work on the paint samples to go around the windows.
Just take that brush and then try that. There's our first palette.
Anthony's brought golds, yellows, blues, you name it.
When you look at this old house, it looks like an old maid. It's drab. Painting the windows is like putting eyeliner on. It'll bring me the windows out and define the house. Okay, go ahead.
Because there's so much brick on the house, we need something a little bit more happy.
Trying to get the yellow to pop out.
Right now, the windows are lost in the red brick. Anthony wants to change that with vibrant, playful colors.
A lot of people don't expect to use 3 colors on a trim. The Victorian is known for its tricolors or varying degrees of colors. I like the last mix.
I think it's the richest.
The next day, the 3 winning colors go up. Yellow across the top, a soft blue for the detail, and a gray for the bottom ledge. Later,
This really stands out. boom, all of a sudden there are windows. It's not just a facade. We have 33 windows and now you can actually see them. It reminds me of my parents' house and where I grew up. It reminds me of home.
This is one of those moments where everyone feels good. Paint color is picked, everybody loves it, and the work is underway. Sounds like we're headed towards a happy ending.
When we come back, paint problems
This is so disappointing.
and an easy way to make your entry totally unique.
Wow.
It's all coming up next. For designer Anthony Wilder and homeowner Nilmini Rubin, the nightmare of paint selection has come true. Turns out the first choice was okay for Joel, but not for Nilmini.
So
A little accent.
just a little.
Yeah.
So you want to keep it very understated, because that's very understated.
Or maybe a medium amount of accent.
All right.
The tricolor combination of blue, yellow, and gray that look good as samples didn't cut it on the house. So, Anthony, determined to make his client happy, is driving Nilmini around town,
Should we go to the right?
looking at houses similar to hers for inspiration on other color options.
It's not just paint color. It's the thousands of dollars that it costs to put the paint on.
You know this is a classic curb appeal problem.
It is?
Paint issues, yes.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. I think we're going to go to a latter-day kind of Victorian color, something vibrant that'll punch it.
Sounds good.
Pick a mango. You see the peach in that?
Newfound inspiration leads to newfound paint schemes.
I like that.
Wonderful.
I think that'll be great.
I'm excited.
Yay!
It's gonna
Yay!
Back to the canvas with the second round of paint. A blue replaces the yellow. And Anthony brought in an old standard.
I added black to the colors to tone it down, create some shadow line. Black is a classic color. It's a timeless color.
And when Joel returns from his business trip,
You really liked that original color scheme, didn't you?
I did,
What
I really
happened?
did. Now it looks really smooth, cool. It's got a real good style to it.
with the paint settled, it's time to take on the stained glass transom that's going to give the house a unique look.
There is a pretty vine design over the transoms of the windows right now and that I'm going to incorporate into her design.
And this is a beautiful design. I kind of like something that kind of spread out like a fan.
Diane Fairburn is going to create a custom stained glass piece that will replace the tired old transom.
Let me show you. That was one blue. I picked out as many blues as I could, but I think the one blue,
Oh yeah.
how do you like that?
That's lovely.
Is that fantastic?
It's great.
I thought that was the perfect color to match the peacock
It
on the
is.
door.
He gives me the girly stuff and he takes control of the air conditioner and the structural issues. that
I'm
we
not
have
going to
many
take
of.
credit for stained glass. None of my friends will see this.
Later, Nilmini prepares for the next crucial step, permits. From Anthony's plan, the portico, the landscape, and the fence require cutting through some red tape with Washington's Historical Review Board.
A number of the things that Anthony suggested for our home need permits. 3 different groups need to sign off on just landscaping, basically.
Thankfully, all but one of the items are approved. The decision on the portico awaits further review.
It's a fairly complicated process just to improve the outside of your home.
Delays from the paint repaint scenario have put the Rubens behind schedule. Joel and Nilmini have recruited some friends over to help get on track.
We're very fortunate that we have a number of friends that are willing to help out and work with us on the house. And if they ever asked us for help, we'd definitely help them out, especially now that we're experts in painting.
First up, staining the concrete walkways.
I've been dying to paint this for months.
An inexpensive way to freshen up the place.
If you have concrete at your house, It generally is dirty and dingy. You can go to the paint store and ask them what they use for concrete, and you'll be surprised what a dramatic difference it'll make.
Joel has opted to put the stain on with roller and brush for a textured antique look.
Easy stuff. Just a matter of making sure that you don't, on the sides, end up running the stain up onto the brick and discoloring it, so I'm gonna have to be careful when I get to the corners.
Nilmini's buffing up the brick on the steps. She's masking flaws by using a light red stain. 2 more friends are handed brushes and pressed into service on the iron gate at the door. Anthony suggested adding color to the detail on the ironwork that will tie the windows and doors into the fence.
That center detail on the window matches the sill, and that seems to, of course, unify the whole place.
Well, good, I'm glad you noticed that. Your untrained eye and you pick it up, that's very
Every now
good.
and then I get something right.
That's what we're looking for, is really to define the house, and that does define the house. It's a very nice little detail.
It's also fence day. Anthony opted for an iron fence that will complement the Victorian architecture.
There's a timelessness to wrought iron, quality that, it's sturdy, it's stable. When you have a nice old Victorian, the obvious choice is a black wrought iron because it's the language of that period.
It's fun to inject a little bit of life into an old house, isn't it?
It is, because a historical house doesn't have to be dour. They played with color, so it's nice that it's a whimsical color.
Of course, being the boss has its advantages.
You see there are some spots you're missing?
If you could just, more right.
Now that things are on track, the last thing the Rubens wanted was bad news. But that is what they got.
We're going to unfortunately have to drop the portico because the initial reaction from the Historic Preservation Board was not positive.
The portico it sets the door off, but it's not the end all. We can do so much with plantings, color, and finishes that I think we can get around together.
So what does this do to the original plan?
We're gonna make it happen. But it won't kill it, it's an architectural element. We'll just move on and work with other elements.
Little hitch in the plans? No sweat. We're just gonna keep on keeping on because that's what we're all about here on Curb Appeal.
When we come back, we create an outdoor retreat fit for a princess.
So you're gonna go up?
No, I think I'm gonna sit this one out.
And a crowning moment next.
We were thinking about maybe adding a weeping cherry.
Landscape designer Joe Carmack has signed on to help the Rubens add structure to their urban landscape.
This is the Nandina domestica, also known as heavenly bamboo.
Yeah, I'd like to be helpful, but I pretty much have a brown thumb.
Our yard is just dirt. It's not soil, it's just dirt.
So low maintenance is key.
Well, our trim is a blue. We tend to like kind of bolder colors.
This is the hydrangea. It's absolutely beautiful. It blooms most of the summer. It loves water.
It's beautiful. I love that it looks old-fashioned.
This is the liripe. This is pretty much evergreen in this climate. It does bloom a purple flower in the late summer.
Joe's Recoup for Color is an ornate mix of annuals, exotics, and shrubs.
Well, now that we've seen the plants, I think we're both much more excited about the landscaping. I mean, I knew that it was going to look pretty, but I didn't really understand what the different plants look like. So now I'm much more excited about it.
Later, Joel and Nilmini shop for patio furniture with Anthony.
Hi, welcome.
They're looking at materials and styles that'll work with their Victorian. First up, tables. An aged copper look without the hefty price tag of the real metal to match with some of the other elements of the design.
So this is a faux black patina tabletop. The tiles are faux, but it's actually grouted and molded the way a stone tabletop is. It'll last forever as well.
Anthony guides the Rubens to go with a smaller model, a better fit for the space. Now chairs. First, they need to work with the table. Second, they need to work well with Victorian style. And third, they need to be durable.
Same coating as automotive industry uses.
Is it gonna rust?
No.
Even with harsh weather in this area, it will be years before the Rubens have to reseal these hardy chairs.
And it holds two!
Sold.
Let's move it over just a little bit to the side.
Landscaping day at the Rubens. The Japanese maple goes in next to the stairs, a delicate contrast coming off the brick.
This is a European hornbeam. It's an excellent hedge. And so we're going to create a nice tall hedge along the northern part of the property here. I'm going to grab the hydrangea. It is going to go this corner right here. We basically wanted to pick a nice sunny spot.
The homeowners went with Anthony's advice and bought a fountain, a calming presence to this quiet little space. Grasses and annuals ring the fountain, softening and adding color to the space. The Rubens stained glass transom is being created by artist Diane Fairburn. Stained glass is a classic Victorian accent. Finishing touches are underway.
Without the copper foil tape, solder won't stick to glass by itself, so metal to metal.
Each piece is lined with copper foil tape. The last step, soldering of every joint.
Once the intersections are soldered, she will then cover all the copper foil that you see. It will be covered with the solder. This is a faceted jewel here, and Nilmany wanted a light violet amethyst color.
The colors are fanciful, perfect for a house of this era. Next stop, atop the Rubens door.
That's a wow.
Ooh, I love the stained glass. I like that it's kind of a fan shape, and I like that it looks like there's little jewels inside.
So you took the cap off the turret, you had it resurfaced, but before putting it back, we're gonna add a little icing to this cake, right?
We're going to put a nice spire on top of it, and then Nilmany is going to put a patina on it. Give it a copper patina.
This is gonna be her own little craft project, huh?
That's correct.
Way to pass off the workload.
Isn't that good?
Nice job.
What's it called?
It's a finial.
It's a finial.
Yeah, and it's gonna go on the top of the house.
The new tippy top is pure copper and pure Victorian. With time, the shiny copper will oxidize and take on a green patina.
This is not copper.
No, I think it's to actually get a copper one would have been really expensive, so this will be a lot cheaper.
To make this all match, step one.
We're gonna start by sponging on this black, gray, green color.
Nilmany and a friend are adding a faux patina to the finial with paint.
And it's gonna make the whole thing look as though it's like a beautiful old copper piece.
After the green dries, copper-colored paint dabbed on with sea sponges give this an authentic look.
You'll be the envy of all your neighbors with your fake patina.
I can
Well,
come
it'll
over
be,
here.
they won't know that it's fake.
That's right.
Later, the crew arrives to put the crown on the turret.
So you're going to go up, Joe?
No, I think I'm gonna sit this one out.
Fall protection.
From
It's only 60 feet to the ground.
Don't worry, I'll catch you.
It took all the king's men and a few women to complete this fairy tale. When we come back, the happily ever after.
From a down-on-her-luck Victorian to the talk of the town, next.
This is a fairy tale curb appeal style. We've got jewels, we got crowns, we got fountains, we got gardens, and now we're done. Take a look.
The Rubens live in a house that rises above 3 streets. It gets a lot of attention in this neighborhood. Since they moved in 2 years ago, the front has been left alone and it looked miserable. Like a knight in shining armor, Anthony Wilder rode in with the wave of his magic. Presto! It's a happy ending. The yard was a dungeon, totally lacking appeal. Now, it's a head turner with color, grace, and a place to enjoy solitude. The concrete next to the steps used to be an eyesore. Now, it blends in with the brick. The perfect ambiance to surround their new patio hangout, stylish and sturdy. Though the portico never happened, with paint and a custom stained glass transom, a functional entry is now a graceful and colorful one of a kind. All of the 33 windows front and back have new colors. Yeah, it might have been a difficult process, but the payoff worth the pain. The trim across the top pops, and that finial is the crowning achievement. Stately iron elements, whimsical Victorian color and detail, lush and private greenery combine to bring this house back to where it belongs.
This is great. This is really nice.
I love the house now.
The yard is fantastic. It made the whole house come alive.
My favorite space is the grass with the fountains, because before it had sort of been a place for us to throw stuff that was broken. So it's amazing to actually have it as a yard now.
The fence and the finial just top it off. I love the way they shine. They make the house stand out.
The secret garden. You got it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for doing this.
Awesome.
Anthony had a great vision. He really worked in the detail of the home.
He brought a keen eye of color and of space. It's amazing. It really is.
Amazing transformation.
This does feel like a happy ending because we transformed this ugly frog into a prince.
You guys were a great team. And you got a house fit for a king.
And the queen.
Oh, yeah. Now, Anthony, if they're king and queen, what does that make us?
Are we stepsisters?
I think you're right.